What's up, guys? Alan Johnson with the AJ team. I get questions all the time from sellers about whether they should sell their property or whether they should hold it and rent it, right? So I did a video probably about 2 years, well, maybe longer than that, probably about 7 years ago. It got over 10,000 views. So I figure it's time to refresh it, make it a little shorter. You guys can see the new AJ and just kind of go over some things. So let me share my screen with you. This should be pretty quick. I kind of consolidated those 6 videos into one so that we can make sure that you guys are smart and thinking through your real estate decisions, right? So should you hold and rent or should you sell? It depends. Everyone's situation is a little bit different. You need to make sure that you're talking to someone who's going to ask you tough questions like the ones that we're going to ask you right now, right? So is this a short-term or a long-term property, right? Is this something that you see yourself in the next 2 to 3 years selling regardless of what happens? Or is this something that you see yourself holding for the long term, right? And then also you need to think about, do you see yourself coming back to this property, right? We have some clients that they're like, no, in fact, I'm not even moving back to that area. Well, then it's probably smart for you not to keep that as an investment property and go buy something where you do think that you're going to stay for the long term, right? And then we've had some clients that are like, hey, when I retire, this is the type of property I feel like I can come back to, or this is the type of property I feel like I want to give my kids, which is a whole nother other situation. We'll talk about that in a future video. These are just things that it's not going to give you the yes or no, but it's going to help you ask the next smartest question, right? Which is, what are the tax implications? If you live in a property and it's owner occupied by you, there likely are no tax implications. The profit that you make from that property, you'll be able to keep it not taxed. If you turn that property into a rental property, then that property is subject to long-term capital gains tax. And I get people who say all the time, hey, Alan, I think this home is going to continue to appreciate, but they never think about the tax implications of keeping the property as a rental property. And long-term capital gains is between 15 and 20%, depending on how much money you make. So if that property goes up by 10%, guess what? In fact, you're probably going to pay more by keeping it because now you got to pay on the long-term capital gains, right? So this is something that you not only should be talking to your agent just to think if it's something you need to think about, but you need to talk to your accountant, right? And these are just things that we talk to our clients about all the time, right? Number 4, what's the season of your investment life? We got some people that are like, hey, I just don't, it sounds in theory like a good thing, but I don't have the energy to be a landlord. I'd rather, instead of be an active real estate investor, I'd rather be a passive real estate investor. I'd rather take this money off the table and go invest it into a REIT or go invest it into some stocks that are related to housing. And it's just things that you just kind of need to think about. Do you want to be active or do you want to be passive? And what part of your life do you have the energy, the time to be able to hold a property and rent it, right? Last couple things, what type of asset is it? Is it a single family house, a condo, or a townhome? You've heard me say in videos before. In fact, with myself, I've sold all of my big single family homes and I've reinvested that money into smaller assets like condos and townhomes. The reason I've done that, particularly townhomes, is because they're easy to manage, right? When you turn over a tenant in a single family house, you got a big house to turn over. Painting a house is expensive. You got all 4 walls that you got to take care of. You got a big yard that you got to take care of. It's just much more expensive for you to manage an asset that's bigger. So it may be smart for you to just pivot into something smaller. We've had a couple of clients that have sold single family houses and bought 2 smaller townhomes, right? Which is a really smart strategy. That's what we've done. All right. Last one is trust your gut and check your pride. I talk to a lot of people like, I really just want to keep my property because I'm proud of it. Once you move out of the property, it's an investment property. It's no longer your house, right? Once you decide, the instant you decide to move, you got to start thinking investment and get out of your pride and get out of your ego, because that's how you make a bad real estate decision. All right. And last but not least is just if you got thoughts, you need someone just to confirm your thoughts. You need to talk to a real estate advisor. You need to talk to someone who owns investment real estate, right? Who's been down that line. I've sold 2 properties this year. because they weren't smart properties. One was, it was a great deal, but it was too far from me, right? And you're talking to someone who believes in owning real estate. We own 20 to 30 doors right now. You know, I'm a big believer in holding real estate, but I'm also a big believer in holding good real estate, right? So if you have anyone who needs to kind of just sift through these types of things, you're thinking about selling a property, what should you do? We can do a 15-minute consultation. We do that for our clients, and we'll do that for you just to make sure that you're making like a smart real estate decision at the end of the day. All right. Alan Johnson with the AJ team. You have the dream. We have the address. We'll see you soon.